All you need is one person in your life who says, "You got this, I believe in you," and you will find courage and energy to do things that you would not have had before. But more importantly, that person needs to also say, "And if everything goes wrong, I will be there for you, and I will be there with you, and I will be in the mud with you," and has the ability to say, "Something's wrong, I'm worried about you." And I think burnout happens when you're attempting to do all of the things you see other people do and not realize that they have deep, meaningful relationships that you can't see. And you think, falsely, that you have to do it alone. And that's when burnout happens, because you don't, as an individual, have the energy. But in community and in relationship and in friendship, it's remarkable, including knowing when to just take a little break to recharge.
Hey everybody, good morning. I'm John Self. Welcome to Career Live. We had big power losses the other day and shut us off for about 24 hours, and then it came back on for briefly and went off again for 2 or 3 more hours. So we're having a lot of studio issues and a lot of playback issues. So I apologize for any of the sort of distortion here. If you can hear me okay, just put it in the chat box. Love to hear from you. My friend Peter Piccinini on the East Coast always lets me know when things aren't going well production-wise. And who better than to give you advice than a former Broadway actor and producer, Peter Piccinini, who's now a financial advisor, a really great guy. And so we hope that you're having a good week. The bad weather is past us. We had hurricane force winds Monday night, and then again Tuesday night, lost power Monday at night and regained it Tuesday night, then lost it again Wednesday morning, and it just blew our production schedule all to heck and back. Now let's talk about a couple of housekeeping details. Tomorrow at 11:30 is Luncheon Live. This was the Tuesday stream that we had originally planned that we had to cancel because of the bad weather. So Lunch and Learn will be tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. Your Career Questions is taking a hiatus from the summer, and it'll join us back in mid to late August. And so I think that's all we have to say, other than, we're glad to have you. And if you have any questions about what we do, please get in touch with me at info@johngself.com, or schedule a call with me on our webpage. Go to the bottom of the page. There's a button that says Talk to John. And you can do it on the telephone or a Zoom call, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about your career. Okay, thanks for joining us today, and let's get started. Today, we really want to talk about a couple of important things that, with this broadcast or this stream is really kind of an update on career and job search trends. And so we're happy to have you, and let's get busy. We want to talk today about the season of hiring. And then secondly, the game plan to ramp up your search. And then third, a hiring outlook, and then some strategic solutions. Now, we're going into the summer season. This is notoriously a downtime. We'll talk about that in more detail in just a minute. But do not stop applying for jobs. But with few exceptions, top management and executives roles, they're not going to move forward until late summer or early fall. The CEOs of the bigger corporations are away for the holiday. They're spending time at their summer houses or beach houses, or wherever they go, their houses in Switzerland, wherever they go, Aspen. And so things began to slow down. And, recruiters do a lot of work on searches that were carried over from the spring, which is a busier period, and they try to wrap those up. And then they start doing business development for the fall hiring season. And that's when the primary season is. So use this time while everybody's kind of slowing down, while recruiters are taking a break and going on holiday. Use this time to plan, to build your network, to create content, and to promote your brand. Because when you get back into the holiday season, there is so much competition. There are so many things you have to do to dig out the right job opportunities for you, that these important functions will kind of take a back seat. So please spend this time this summer when you're out around the pool or sitting at your beach house or just, lounging at home. Think about the things you can be doing to build your brand and to get ready for your job search. January and February are really the top hiring months for executives. September and October are also pretty good months, but the summertime months, as I just said, are the slowest. Now, September, October, and early November are active for candidate sourcing and screening. Now, when you get past the second week in November, you start moving into the holiday season, and people start having parties. They go away a lot, and that's when a client will say, "This is so important. We need to get this search wrapped up," and then they're never available. And so, early December, you probably have a window of opportunity in early December, and then after that, it doesn't pick back up until February. So, March and May are tapering off months. So we're past that now. We're into the dog days of summer, so to speak. So this is the time you can now continue to look for jobs. Might be something that pops up. But keep in mind, the best jobs are not going to be posted. The best jobs are going to be handled by recruiters, or they're going to be just something that corporate recruiters are looking for, but they're not posted on job boards. So here's what you need to do, your game plan for the summer. This is the best time to build a written career plan with goals and objectives. Now, we keep talking about this because the research is pretty clear that people who have written career plans with goals and objectives and timelines and accountability, they tend to be more successful than those that don't. If it's written down, you're accountable for it. If it's just up here, that's kind of c'est la vie. You may think about it some days, and a lot of days you don't because you get busy. If you have a written plan, it's just like a company business plan. You have to follow it. You have to hold yourself accountable. That's why those people tend to be more successful than those that don't have written plans. And you can say, "John, I'm successful now, and I don't have a written plan." Okay, that means you're talented. So think about what you could have done if you'd written it down and planned. People talk about, "I want to become an expatriate and work overseas," or "I want to live in the Northwest," or "I want to be able to, make enough money so I can have a home in the big sky country in Montana and go there for the summers. Okay. Is that part of your plan? What are you going to do to get to that point? You got to write it down. You gotta, okay? That Southern expression, gotta, as in you have to. You're building a career network, then using 3.0 concepts ties to your career plan. So you say, I want to be a CEO of a major manufacturing company, Fortune 100. That's great. So what steps do you have to take to get there? Okay? What's the competition like? Do a SWOT analysis. And then put in your benchmarks. What do I have to do? What credentials do I need to have? What levels of experience do I need to have? The people who are running those companies, what was their background? What steps did they take? How long did it take them to get there? That's all important information for your plan. Then you need to develop a brand strategy. That's how you're promoting yourself. And now with a lot of corporations that don't post some of their jobs, how they're sourcing for those, they're using high-speed LinkedIn scanners. And so if you don't have a brand strategy for LinkedIn, you could be overlooked for your dream job. So now's the time to develop a brand strategy. Okay. You can then monitor the online postings. Okay. For the rare exceptional positions, but stay disciplined. Don't start applying for jobs that you really don't want. Don't start applying for jobs unless you meet at least 85 to 90% of the selection criteria. Why? Because you're essentially wasting your time. And then if something comes up in that company later and they have 8 applications from you for positions you didn't qualify for, it hurts your brand. So don't shoot at everything that moves. That works sometimes, but not when it comes to executive and management jobs. You have to be disciplined. And the big challenge now is that people, and they start getting into the job search, they are going crazy applying for jobs. Just I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. But the problem is, if your resume doesn't match up with what the computer's looking for, you may be able to do it, but nobody's going to know because your resume is going to be ejected into the ionosphere. So focus, stay disciplined, get your homework done this summer. This is still a time to look for jobs. You still have to apply online if you don't have a network. But if you have a network, this is the time to strengthen it. This is the time to expand it. This is the time to weed and feed the garden, so to speak. So since the last time you updated your plan, maybe your plans have changed a little bit. You start planning for how am I going to adjust my networking? And here's where LinkedIn comes into great benefit, because LinkedIn will show you who's connected to who, and it'll help you understand relationships. This takes time. It's an incredibly valuable tool, but you just can't go in there and expect it to just spoon feed you what you want. You have to look, you have to dig, you have to do your research. The summer months are the best times to do that because you have more time in the job search business. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the hiring outlook. White collar recession. It's not going to go away. For the sake of discussion, we think it's going to continue through the third and fourth quarters of next year, this year and into next year. Jobs planning, your job search planning needs to reflect this reality. That means that you're going to have to be more focused, and you're going to have a more strategically aligned network to help you. Because in the longer term, we anticipate the supply of managers and executives to continue to exceed corporate demand by a significant gap. So this is finding a job, even in the fall and early spring, is going to be as competitive this coming season as at any time in my career. So you must build a network, because we are now into planning. Career networking 3.0. It's all about who do you know. Let me tell you why that's important. As we mentioned yesterday in our office hours, new companies are now entering the marketplace and offering job seekers the golden parachute, the wonderful sparkly new bangle and jangle and all that other stuff. Just pay us a subscription fee, and your resume we'll customize your resume to meet the job summary, and we'll write you a cover letter. Now, first of all, a lot of HR directors say the cover letters they're getting more and more and more of them. They're flooding the pipeline. All sound strangely similar. So if they don't ask for a cover letter, don't create one of these AI chat GPT forward cover letters. You may be paying $29 a month or $18 a month or $12 a month or whatever it is a month for that AI kind of service. And it can be helpful on your resume. But a lot of people are using that to increase the volume of applications they're making. If you have to do it manually, it takes you an hour, hour and a half for every application. Now they can do it very, very quickly. And so people are all flocking to the notion that if I apply for 30 jobs, I have a chance of getting one. Well, no, you don't, because if you're not really qualified, if you don't have relevant experience, if it's not aligned with what they're looking for, it's not taking you as much time to apply for all those jobs, but you still wasted your time. And the problem for employers now, they're getting inundated with all these automated resumes and automated cover letters. So what we have are dueling AI technologies. The corporate technologies trying to screen, and now job applicants paying vendors on a monthly subscriber basis to generate all their resumes for them. Because, gosh, none of us like to do resumes. So that makes it easy. That makes it worth it. I'm going to subscribe. That's good, but that's not going to get you the job. Because most of the time, those resumes are not making it out of the screen. Here's what's happening. Companies now are reverting back to something they've done in the past. They're giving bonuses, bounties, for referrals from their employees. So if I refer to somebody who's a great programmer at the senior level, very sophisticated engineering skills, and they hire that person, then I'd get a nice bonus. Well, that's now being used by more and more companies. And what that does is, if you're a referred candidate, AI, it places you above the non-referred candidate. So you may be using an AI subscription service and applying for a job, but if you're not a referred candidate, you're not probably going to rate as high as a referred candidate. Matter of fact, 50% of the referred candidates get out of the resume screening by AI versus 12% from the other people. It doesn't matter how on point you are, they're paying attention to their preferred candidates and their referred candidates. So we are back into who you know, what you know, and who you know. That's going to be the secret code, the secret cheat code to help you get past this new kind of backlog. I think the other thing, let me look back at one thing real quick. And again, it really use this time to focus networking on priority corporate targets, people that you'd like to work for, jobs that you think you might like, that you know are going to come up. Start building a relationship in those organizations in that geographic area. Okay, let's talk about some strategic solutions. Now, this summer this stuff is necessary. It's essential. It's absolutely essential now. So it takes some time. So this is the perfect time to do it when there's not as much career job search activity. First of all, identify former colleagues with whom you've worked in the past and renew the relationships. Look them up in your company directory or look them up in your industry directory from your professional association and call them and say, hey, Rob, I hadn't talked to you in 3 years since we worked together. I just wanted to call and see how you were doing. And, how's your family? What are you doing now? Take an interest in them. Don't talk about yourself. Take an interest in them. And when you finish up the call, complete it by saying, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Okay? You have a purpose for getting that relationship, but it's not going to be accomplished today. So don't try to make it about you. It's all about the person you're connecting with and trying to reestablish the relationship with. Secondly, mine potential contact names from former colleagues. When you're talking to say, hey, I'm thinking about making a change in the fall or in the spring next year. I've kind of gone as far as I can go here, and we have a pretty heavy bench or a pretty thick, deep bench here. And so in order for me to move up to that next step, I'm probably going to have to make a relocation. And so I'm really beginning to plan, who do you know in the Chicago area? Who do you know around Detroit? Who do you know around Dayton, Ohio? Or, Denver, Colorado, any place geographically, and get them to refer you. Oh, I know somebody at St. Ascension or St. Alphonse, or I know somebody at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles. Fine, get their name, get their contact information. Reach out to them. Hey, I was talking to Bob the other day, and he mentioned you're a good person to talk to. I'm John Self, and I've been in healthcare a long time, and I'm going to be relocating to the West Coast. We want to be closer to our grandson who lives in Valencia. And just kind of wanted to know what you saw as the market opportunities in your area and what you could share about living in California, making a transition to California. Just, make it brief. Don't try to, Rome was not built in a day, and you're not going to take an initial call, make it into a connection and a relationship within a 15-minute phone call. And you got to watch your time, be very careful, be very focused on what you're trying to accomplish, but always looking for more names. Every call you make, you're always looking for more names, because the one name you get at the end of a call may be the name that changes your life, changes your career trajectory. So be disciplined and try to know what you want to accomplish with every call. And one of the things you want to accomplish is you want to learn. There's actually three things. You want to learn, you want to reaffirm that you're there to help them if there's anything they need, and you're trying to data mine other names that you can talk to. Now, in the summer, this is something most people don't do. I tell them to. We talk about it in coaching sessions, but people get busy because they don't have a network, so they're spending all their time applying online, which is kind of a waste. And you will eventually get a job. Excuse me. If if you have a good record accomplishment, you have a good resume, you'll eventually land a gig. But it may take you a year or more. It may take you 100 or 140 applications. That's why we say online applications, online job searching is really the most inefficient way to do it. It's who you know, because people in the know will say, there's a great job, in Boise at Albertsons, and they're looking for a chief internal communications officer. This fits right in with what you've been doing. I know the person there that's going to be doing the hiring. Send me your resume and I'll make an introduction for you. Okay, that's how those things are done. So that's why it's so important to build relationships. Also this summer, do the case studies that highlight your successes from various projects, 2 or 3. Post them in the featured section on your LinkedIn profile, 200, 250 words. Write them very carefully. Here's the fact situation. Here's what we did. Here were the results. Okay. Then you also want to produce some short videos to posting to LinkedIn. These help a lot. Why? Because recruiters, if they identify your name on their scans, that they want to look at your profile and they see you have some short videos, chances are they'll open the short videos before they'll read your resume. Why? That's what they grew up doing, was looking at short videos. So tailor your message to the people who are going to be doing the recruiting, which are millennials and Gen Zs. Guys like me, I work in a TV studio, or if I was still in recruiting, I would be doing, retained search, and flying around the country or the world. So, you want to be sure that you build your network. You want to be sure that you use your time focused, you're very strategic. You want to be sure that you highlight your career accomplishments in many case studies. You want to be sure you put a couple of videos that highlight your personality, highlight your leadership philosophy, and then maybe 1 or 2 if you've got one that's really conducive to talking about a career success on video, then use that. There's a system called SendSpark, BombBomb. There's some others. There are email videos, but there are also, you can put them on LinkedIn. Now, the other thing you might want to do is also, get a YouTube channel. Why? Because the YouTube is the second largest search engine in the globe, and recruiters are going there more and more often. So if you do produce videos, use them and store them on your YouTube profile. And if you then post them over on LinkedIn, sometimes you can upload videos to LinkedIn. If it's a little bit longer, then you can put a link from YouTube, which will also be helpful. So develop some email video capability. Why? Because those emails are opened more frequently than just regular old standard written text emails. And if you use an automated or a GIF, an animated GIF, that catches their eye and they'll know it's not just some kind of malware. Always put a message. If you use video email, always put a message, a special video for you, Peter, or special video for you, Kathleen, whoever you're sending it to. Point out that this was produced on a Chrome extension that's free of malware and viruses, and it's sent off Chrome. So that tends to get more opening. People will say, okay, great, it's a safe deal. So consider using email videos. People say, I'm not really comfortable, I don't know how to do this. You just have to get in and do it. Now, This is so critical because we're now in a slower period of recruiting. Use your time wisely. The things that I've talked about today are really important to your success. And as the job search kind of volume picks up in the fall, you'll have less time to plan and develop. So do it now. Whether you're sitting by the pool or on the beach someplace, or on your patio in your high rise in New York or Chicago, take the time on a Saturday morning and Sundays to get caught up, or maybe in the evenings. Do this necessary foundational work so that when the recruiting season kicks off again, you will be prepared. And if you don't do this, you're just basically saying, I want to be like everybody else. Guess what? Everybody else doesn't get hired. So I hope that's enough of an incentive for you to really focus your job search efforts. This is summer. It's slower. Use your time wisely. Get ready for the fall season. Now, people say, "Well, the day just kind of got away from me." Or what it really means is, I didn't really want to do that. I don't like doing that. I'm uncomfortable doing that. So, I just didn't do that today. Well, every day you don't do something, that's one day that's taken away from your job search that you can't recoup. In fact, it probably added a day to your job search. So today must be an action day. You need to have a plan every day through this summer to say, what do I want to get accomplished today? I want to write one 200-word mini case study. Great. If you have any questions, email me, or we can set up a brief telephone call. I'll be happy to help you. Or better yet, become a group member of your career community for $49 a month. It gives you full access to all of our courses, and it gives you also significant discounts on one-on-one live coaching. So normally it'd be $150 to $200. You can get live coaching for about $75 an hour. So that you're not going to get a better deal than that. And you also get three monthly check-in calls. So there's three, once a week or twice a week. It's three calls a month that are 30 minutes. And it's part of your membership. So it's $49 a month, and it doesn't require a contract, and you continue to use it as long as you find it of value. Now, as I said earlier, vendors are creating these new automated AI tools for job seekers. It's to counteract the company technology. In the past, when they introduced all this stuff, the job seekers didn't know what the hell was going on, and the companies didn't tell anybody. Now, over time, everybody was saying, how do you beat this? How do you beat that? And there were some software platforms developed that would check your resume to be sure it was rated high against it's an ATS scan. Well, that was great, but that was somebody else's product. And sometimes that helped, sometimes it didn't. Well, now what they're setting up, because everybody really hates to customize their resume because it takes so long. And just that, most people, the most interaction they want to have with their resume after they get it back from the resume writer is touch it and hold it with tweezers. I mean, people have an aversion to doing anything with their resume, and it's really interesting. So now they're getting memberships to AI technology that allows you to customize your resume, customize a cover letter, and do it very quickly so you can increase your output of job applications. Now, this is for people who haven't taken the time to go back to the fundamentals and build a network. The network is the best way to get the job. The network, you're going to get a better job. But this is popular because people don't like the networking piece because they have to talk to people and they might get rejected, even though it's probably going to lead to a much better job. So now companies are counteracting this influx of resumes by offering bonuses. So unless you're referred, you can have the greatest AI resume in the world, but unless you have referred status on your ATS record, you stand about a 12% chance of getting through. If you have been referred, you stand a higher chance of getting through at least the resume screen, and that's where most people die in their search anyway. So understand this. This summer, as you take the time, don't waste it, take the time and understand there are no easy answers, just more technology with more glitz. So do not disregard the fundamentals we've been talking about here about job search. in disregard those things in lieu of the bright, shiny new objects. Everybody now, John Strassman, who was co-founder of one of the leading job boards, said that people call him or email him wanting to know what the secret code is to get past the filters that the ATS is using for various jobs that they post on their boards. And there is no cheat code. The cheat code is to have a really good resume that's 85 to 90% of what they're looking for at least, and then uses all the keywords and phrases throughout the resume, and that takes time. But the truth is, that's what it takes. The truth is, it takes building a network, and so that you don't have to deal with the bots. Would you rather trust somebody you know and built a relationship with, or some imaginary thing inside a computer that's making career choices for you? I would think that you'd want to probably have a connection, okay? I think it's absolutely critical. I hope you'll join us next week. This is coming up on the top of the hour, a little past, so we try to wrap up at the top of the hour. I hope you join us next week. We have Lunch and Learn on Tuesday at 11:30, back to our regular time. We have office hours at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. These are live coaching sessions. And then Career Live is 7:30 a.m. next Thursday. Your Career Questions is taking a summer break. It'll be back in the later summer. So I hope this information has been helpful today. If you have questions, reach out. I'm happy to help you. Ben, want to thank you for joining us today. Peter and some other people were on earlier, and really appreciate you joining us. We hope this was helpful information, and we hope that you'll come back next week. We're working this weekend to build some good quality content for you to help you advance your career. Remember, if you're going to deal with us, we're not going to give you BS answers. We're not going to give you, this bright, shiny new thing. It's hard work. You have to dig. It's fundamental work. And the computers just give you the allure that there's some magic answer. There is not a magic answer. It's hard work. It's developing your value statement. It is understanding what people are looking for and understanding how to sell your value to those people. So thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us today, and we will see you next week. Cheers, everyone.